We are back again with another episode of RnB Vibes, and I am joined by an incredible artist that I am obsessed with. You know, I told you guys I get obsessed with these artists, and he is one of them. Bryn Joy, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm I'm good. I'm good. I feel like this is going to be my most therapeutic episode I've ever done in my life. 'Cause-
Oh man, I high bar now. There's a high bar.
high bar. But you said it. You set it up very high. But we're going to get into that a little later. Right now, I got to talk about, of course, you're from Nashville, Nashville's own woo woo, right?
Energy. Yes, I am.
Okay, so tell me, what was it like here in Nashville for you as an artist?
Growing up quiet. Surprisingly now it's the complete opposite, but it was very quiet. It was very serene. I my whole family is super Southern, so we kind of grew up in that world. We grew up traveling, listening to 92Q. We're big like road trip people, so like that was like the normal. And then being an artist in Nashville, it kind of was um a lot of growth happened. I always say like Nashville is a very intellectually creative city, right? And LA
Mm,
or New York or Paris are very like physically creative cities. You know, you get the stylists, the artists, the painters, whatever, but Nashville has this cerebral mindset that is so top tier that
yeah.
I feel like I grasped that before we grasped like the styling, the looks, the visuals. And so it's good home training. I don't know. I really am blessed to be from Nashville for real.
Now you said that it was kind of quiet when you, I guess, was starting up here in Nashville. What do you mean by that? Like, was it not much of an R&B scene, or what do you mean?
It was just like I feel like now, there's celebrities everywhere, there's the Broadways and bars everywhere and stuff. When I grew up, there wasn't that really at all. Like we didn't I never was I guess the country scene was always there, but it was never
Yeah.
as modernized as it is now. Um
Mm.
and even coming up in starting in music, I went to Belmont and even just starting it still was very, very small. We only had like four venues. You have your Exit In, you have your um cannery, you have your few, but it's not like, there's rites of passage and there's not really too many different things to do. So it was quiet.
No, I get it. I think that when I was growing up, there wasn't so much of a entertainment scene as far as different venues, and then you have now all these different streets that used to be the bad streets you do not walk on. They're now the streets everybody's like, oh, let's run, let's go on a jog,
I
let's have fun.
The gentrifying is real. It's real. But
That's
that's how
real.
East was. East Nashville is the place to be now. And back when I was growing up, it was not the,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like all the rave. It's $1 million homes. And so it's just very different than growing up. But it's still kind of the same. Like when I go back to Nashville, I know all the baristas, I know all the bartenders, I know all the
Oh
people, like
wow.
small town.
So do you often come back here? And then when you come back, do you have this like moment where you're like, wow, I remember when it's like a full perspective type of situation for you?
I come back every now and then. Anytime my parents are like crying, they're like, "Come back,
Come
come
back
back."
home.
But I do come back, and every time I do come back, I come for my peace and kind of like recentering everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to block out a lot of the noise out here on the West Coast and just breathe and center and kind of find it's home for me though. It's very different than a lot of, and you get it too. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of people go to Nashville for crazy time, for dreams to come true. For me, it's like home cooking. Like my mama's there, my mima. It's cute.
No, so it's like it's Nashville, my home, my peace, right?
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
I love that. Now when you moved to LA, was that right? You went from Nashville to LA?
I did.
What
Yeah.
made you make that decision to go ahead and go for it all and go to LA?
I really want to go to London, to be honest. I spent some time in London writing and it blew my mind. It's one of the best cities I've ever been to in my life, and I still plan on moving there at some point. But there's just a lot for me to learn about the visual side, styling side, how to kind of present yourself. I feel like people here in LA, they go to Walgreens in full comme de garçon, you know, full like designer, crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's this like mindset that a lot of people deem as narcissistic and egotistical, but I think is really beautiful to possess this kind of poise and belief about yourself that you don't need other people's opinion. That's something that I kind of struggle with a lot. And so being out here, I've learned to just not care. And I think that is why I came to LA, and I've learned so much being out here.
Now, do you feel like going to LA was basically taking that huge bet on yourself? Was that choice?
Yeah, still is. Every
Yeah.
day. Like I feel like LA is detention for all the art kids. Like that's how I could describe it to someone that hasn't been here. It's like all the art kids got put into detention after school and our punishment is rent. And that's how it goes.
I
Like
love it.
that's the energy like it gives out here. But it's definitely risky being out here every day. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's beautiful.
Now I know that you took that risk, but you didn't take that risk with $1 billion in your pocket. I mean, that had to be terrifying. You have a little this amount of money, you have this amount of people that you may or may not know in LA. How did you not? I would be nervous. I would have told myself, nah, I'm cool. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stick to my comfort zone.
I did. We cried a lot. And I think the thing about LA is that for everyone, no matter if they show it or they don't, there's an expiration date, right? There
Mm,
always is a time where someone's like, I'm gonna run out of this money at this point, and every opportunity you get, that expiration date pushes back. And
mm.
so there's this kind of like we kind of trauma bond here in LA. A lot of people of like it's hard out here, like you get it. So like there's some of the biggest people in the world. You know, I have friends that were just in Saltburn, this crazy movie, and then the next day they're at Starbucks working again, you know? And so
Oh
like there's
wow.
this like it's this kind of common understanding that like you have to have a job to pay for your job out here,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah. No,
but it's cool.
it makes a lot of sense. It makes me think about, I was going to ask you about the comparison and the challenges of being an artist from LA to Nashville, but it's the same thing in a sense. In Nashville, I am a personality here. I do so much with the podcast and radio, but I'll skip, but I still have to have a second job. It's the
Exactly.
same concept. Yeah.
Doesn't change. It just gets worse.
Mm.
But wouldn't trade it though. It's the point of life because when it works, and then it makes everything worth it.
I love how like the environment might change, but everything else might stay the same. Just do
Uh,
it.
exactly. You know, we just
Well,
pray.
I like the honesty in it all because it shows you, are I have to ask myself every day, is it worth it? Did you really want to go for it all? And I have these mantras, like I have things I have to say to myself or a scripture I have to say to myself in order to keep pushing forward. Do you have something like that?
Um, I don't know. I've always been told by my mentors like a door will not open unless you close the previous one. And I've been so like in the middle of like a lot of decisions, especially recently. And I recently kind of discovered as soon as you close a door, a million open. And that for me blew my mind. So that's kind of like how I go about moving out here is like I need to make sure that am I going to keep this in my back pocket and do this maybe? And so that way I have this as like a plan B. Like plan Bs don't
Yeah.
exist out here. You know, it's plan A and then plan B is just another way to get to plan A. So like that's kind of how I go about it. Yeah.
I love that you said that, and it kind of makes me upset at the same time because I just recently learned that lesson about you can't, that door behind you has to be fully closed before you look at the one in front of you and try to open it. I thought that the door behind can still have some cracks, just a little bit of cracks, just a little bit, but no, you have to fully close and exit before you move on to the next blessing that is prepped up for you.
Exactly.
But do you find yourself often trying to still think back and fix what's past or trying to go back into previous situations and before it's hard to keep moving forward, right?
It is. It's um completely the worst feeling ever trying to bet on yourself, right? And
Yeah.
trying to be like, I am worth it. I am going to take this risk when in complete honesty, you don't have the credentials to be, like some of the
Yeah.
rooms that I end up in, I'm like, I definitely don't have the credentials to be in this room with like everyone has a Grammy but me, everyone has an Oscar but me. I'm sitting here with people that could afford the entire apartment building I'm living in, buy it. But like, I think that betting on yourself, yeah, it's fearful, but it's beautiful. There's something really, really cool about it. And delusion, I think, is my biggest piece of advice when I give to people out here. Like, you gotta fake it till you make it.
If you think you're the shit, you're the shit.
Exactly. And you know what? Yeah, every time, every time. It's
I'm
cool.
loving it. I'm loving it. That's okay. I have a new thing I'm gonna say to myself every day I wake up. If you think you're the shit, you the
You're
shit.
the shit. That energy. That energy.
Now, when I listen to you, I love how you talk. You talk so candidly and openly, and I love it because I wonder when I listen to your music and even hear you now, were you always this open, this conversational? Were you a shy kid or a shy person at all?
I definitely was friends with a lot of friend groups in high school and middle school,
Yeah.
but like I was not this like extroverted person. I think too, I am very like calm in demeanor. Like I don't really
Mhm.
have crazy moments, but I don't know. I found a lot of peace and especially being 21, 22, like I just kind of learned to let go and let
Yeah.
God and just problems aren't worth it. They just aren't. And
Mm.
from that point, I kind of just was allowed to breathe. I feel very free right now in life, which is cool.
See, that's what amazes me about you. I think that I'm in the same type of mindset. I used to be so people would say I was talkative as a kid, but no, it was though externally sociable, internally closed and blocked off. It was all a mask in order to hide what I was really feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel like with you and your music, especially when I see you on stage, it's sociably you are there, you are out, you whatever, because your internal self is saying all the things that needs to be said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think too, there's this power in maintaining your morals and kind of like how you move. And I have found that people really appreciate, even out here, like smiling and being open is like your way to stand out. Everyone tries to be on the wall and be like tight beat,
The cool
but
people.
but
Hey.
like I'm telling you, smiling in a room has taken me into the craziest nights of my life being out here in LA. Like just going up to people there, you see celebrities, no one's talking to them, no one's hitting them up, no one's being like, hey, how are you? And that is kind of the approach I've been taking recently, and it has gotten me so far, just being open and being aware.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people need to understand that the atmosphere, the room that you're in currently, can be a new direction to where you'll be next tomorrow. Later, if you just take appreciative of the room, take an appreciation of it, and then on top of that, be in the moment.
That
Be in the moment. I get so sick and tired of people that just can't appreciate where they are right now and the current atmosphere, the current moment that is happening. If you do that, you might be able to go a little further and maybe even see someone or something that's going to take you to the next step.
that it works every time. It's my managers and my mentors always tell me it's a long game. It's a marathon. It's not
Mm,
this week's numbers. It's not about next week's numbers. It's about focusing on making sure that when everything does pop, everything from before is flawless. I think that for me is how you have a Lizzo moment or a Doja moment or all these incredible
yeah, yeah.
people where all these everyone's like, or Billy, where everyone's like, oh my God, they came out of nowhere. And I'm like, yeah, that's because when everyone discovered them, every piece of music before was flawless as well. And so it wasn't a song. Like they didn't give you the option to only like one song. It was everything. And I just think it's just pacing yourself for me right now, being out here and just living in the moment.
So when you look back though at the hard work, I mean, you're still doing work, you're still putting in the effort and everything, but the journey from then to now, what do you say to yourself?
Um, give myself grace. I
Yeah.
think so hard on myself, right? I
Mm.
put out everything, the EP I have out now, right? 20s. I put it out, no edits. I didn't know about production edits or executive producing or anything. I literally put it out. It wasn't supposed to work. And work is very subjective of a word, but like I look back on it now. I look back on past performances and I'm so hard, I'm so critical, and I'm learning to just give myself grace. And
Mm.
I never really lived in the moment. And so I kind of am regretful of that in the past. So now I'm trying to take that approach and be easy. Try-
What do you feel like when you say you didn't it was not supposed to work? Let's go into it. The 20s is a great, it's beautiful. I love 20s. I thought it was great. And maybe think about jazz for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. But uh but what do you mean? It was the concepts or what was not supposed to work on it?
it was just therapy. Like it was therapeutic. I found that people listened to me more when I sang than when I spoke. And so I was allowed
Mm.
to kind of sing and just get it off my chest. Like I wrote 8 songs, which were the first 8 songs I ever written, and I put it out. That literally is in that order, in that vibe. Like that's the songs that were released. And I never did it for the goal of it working or me moving out here or whatever. That
I
was
mean,
never
yeah,
was not
being a
an
success.
option. Yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't an option to move out here to LA and like to do it and stuff. So like the fact that I was able to do it, it is really amazing because now I get the time to like apply what I've learned and present kind of a new piece, uh, and hopefully show people the growth.
But therapy for one, testimony for another, or vice versa. So it worked. I mean, listening to 20s, it made me kind of smile a little bit because as I'm now 27 years old, I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Yeah,
And this is that time period where you're going to have the I don't know moments, the I gotta second guess myself moments, the do they really like me? It's a question mark on love, life, and faith, everything.
yeah.
So it was a testimony. I think it's a beautiful piece of work, and I think it may not have it should have worked, but it did because it was everybody's testimony. It's all
Yeah,
of ours.
I agree. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, you spoke a story in that, and I love watching your performances. Also, I gotta give you a nod to that as well. It's funny because you definitely come alive when you're on stage. You take a new presence. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, it's um I don't know. It's very you feel very powerful being on stage and
Yeah,
you kind of it's this idea of holding people hostage. And you're like, I can do whatever I want right now and y'all are gonna like, listen to me and you either leave with a fan or you leave with the same amount of fans you had, and
yeah,
in some people's case you lose fans, but that's rare.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like for me, being going to Belmont, going to all that, that was where we started was performance.
Mm.
It really wasn't like a visual aspect or a artistic approach to learning that was given at Belmont. It was very performance based. And so that to me is what feels the most comfortable is like getting up in front of people and just singing.
See, what I like is though, it's not just about it's not just the crowd reaction because you get great crowd reaction. It's the when I see you on stage, I I can see you listening to the arrangement, like you are piecing things together and making sure it's the marriage that you want it to be with from the words to the melody to the beats to even the damn background vocalist. Are you singing
Yeah,
the right way? And I love how you piece arrangements together.
thank you.
Um, is that a nod to the professors that taught you? I know you started all of this the freshman year of college, right? Getting into
Yeah.
music.
I guess it is a nod. A lot of it I just learned on my own, to be honest. Like I
Okay.
MD most of my show. I MD all of my background vocals, all of a lot of the parts I do, and I think sometimes it works because I don't know what I'm doing. So like I think there's beauty to like piecing things together very wrong. I think that's some of my favorite producers now that are doing these really big songs, these dojas and whatever, is that you eliminate this kind of stereotype or this um systematic approach to like music, right? Like this is the
Yeah.
formula, this is what you do, this is how, and that's a lot of Nashville is like that. And I think for me, my ignorance is what gave me a little bit of strength kind of in the crowd, is that I just did shit that sounded cool to me at least, and hope that people like my taste. And
Yeah.
you know, some people did it, but a lot of people did, which is cool. So like it is what it is.
See, I love see, I could I the premise of you in every aspect, I feel your followed motto it should be taking a chance on self.
Yeah.
Cause you're like, hey, I'm taking a chance on myself when it comes to my music, because this is me. My music is me. It ain't nobody else. So here is me in my song, in the way I speak, in the way that I present. And I'm just gonna bet on the idea that y'all gonna love it and I want to believe in it and have the faith in it.
Energy, you gotta, and that in turn I feel like um me and the artists that take that approach, it's a way longer battle, right? Like you
Yeah.
it's not, you lose kind of the effect of it being trendy or it being whatever, but I love the Solanges, right? I love the Moses Sumneys, I love
Hmm.
kind of the really intellectual artists that are presented, and those all are artists that it's taken some time, and but when it works tenfold. So I'm just
I mean,
betting.
hey,
So
keep keep betting on yourself because that's where you're a winner. You are a winner.
energy.
Let's talk to about let's talk about the collaborations you've done so far. I mean, you've done a lot, and I really want to get into the Denzel Curry and Pink Sweat. How did those two happen?
Um, Pink Sweats I met through my manager, I think, and it was very organic. I wrote that song at a Vegas writing trip, and didn't know if it was for me or not. We just wrote it and I was like, this is a gorgeous song. And then I met Pink and he loved the song and I did too.
Hmm.
And so it was kind of organic. It was kind of very like off the cusp. And yeah, we went on tour. We did everything. He's still a good buddy of mine. Like, but that was a very special moment. I think internationally too, like in China, Southeast Asia, like it really
Yeah.
was a big song. And a lot of my fans are from there, which I love for me. But yeah, it's really sick. And the Denzel thing too, like I got a call from one of my managers and it was like, yo, we need this song for this show that's coming out. However, we need it in like 2 hours because the deadline's at midnight. It was like 9 p.m. or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, send me the track. I'll throw a hook on it and see what happens. Um, and then they called it like 8 a.m. and they were like, we're obsessed with it. We're obsessed. And Denzel wasn't on it yet. And they were like, we're obsessed with it. We'll be right back. And then that later that evening, they were like, okay, Denzel's down. Let's run it. So it was sick.
It's insane. I love how everything is it is an organic approach. And I think that's how it should be. Do you have anybody that you want to work with that's coming up or a new artist you want to bring on to the tracks? 'Cause I know you
So
got a new album coming out.
yeah, so many. I am a huge Smino fan. So like
Oh.
the whole Chicago scene, I'm a massive fan of. The entire album's kind of based on like underground New York early Tumblr R&B world.
Hmm.
2015 Tumblr sound is like kind of a lot of what the album is geared towards. Like I said, Solange is like my it's my moment, you know, it's my Roman Empire. She's like top dog of like art. It's so good. So many people though. I think their Q is an amazing artist that's coming up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
East. Dijon is incredible. But I also love a lot of folk artists. I love Debbie Dawson's coming up. She's a beast. I'm a huge Young the Giant fan. I don't know. I just like all genres of music. I want to kind of dabble into a lot of alternative approach. Biba Doobie's really fire. So yeah.
You want to kind of, I think people are doing this now. They're trying to, don't really know how to. A lot of people don't. You're trying to dip and dabble in different genres, create a new sound, and bring a new light to how music can be creatively done. It doesn't have to be on one track. It can be given in versatility. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And R&B is a feel too. Like I think a lot of people associate R&B with sounds, but to us, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
we get
yeah.
it. Like we know what is R&B and what isn't, and it's a feeling thing. It's not. It's like soul. Like it's not a sound thing. You don't have to have this type of guitar, this whatever. And
Mm-mm.
that is, you know what? Again, you have an artist like Debbie Dawson. You have an artist like Beyonce. What she just did, like all of that is like soul and rooted. And I just want to apply that to as many genres and worlds as I can.
Hey, I think that you do it perfectly. As when I hear your songs, you can hear that real R&B because you know we know,
Yeah,
and you can also hear a little tone of different genres coming in and being married and being and created in a beautiful format. It's not chaotic. It's
yeah.
done in a way that's okay. I can catch this wave and I'm going to stay on it. So, and nod to you too, by the way, for Fiji Fine. That is my song.
Thank thank you. Yeesh. Yeah,
Gotta
that was a fun one. Thank you.
I know that's a probably an old track, but I gotta make sure my brain was like, "Don't forget, you're a fan, Fiji Fine."
Nah, that's energy. I made that in like 30 minutes and we were like, this is not sick. And then I was like, let's just drop it and it's fire. I think it's hot.
Yeah, we played on the air because I absolutely am obsessed with it. I think it's a great track, and I'm
Mhm.
surprised that y'all didn't think it was fire. I don't know what it is. It's like it's just more
I think
bop
it's
to
fire.
me.
No, let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. I think it's fire now. But I'm biased. I think everything I have out is fire. But I think it's fire now. When we made it though, I was like, this is like every time I'm in sessions, we'll do like a 15-minute, 30-minute like palate
Mhm.
cleanser song. So I'd be like, yo, let's like take a beat, let's do like a palate cleanser song. And usually it's a throwaway.
Yeah,
That day it was a Fiji Fine. And I was like, all right, let's drop it.
let's roll with it. Let's
Yeah,
roll with it.
let's send it. But it was cute.
It's cute. It's a great hype song for me. I don't know. It's weird.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
Thank you.
But now we got new songs. We got new music coming out. You just dropped Take Care,
Hmm.
right?
I did.
Let's go into it. It's the love for me. It's I'll take you as you are. Just take care of my heart. Is that right?
Hmm.
That scares me. It
Yeah.
really does. I think that for me, it's not just the idea, and help me out if this where you was going. It's not just the idea of taking me as your yes, I'll take you as you are. You're crazy, you're flawed, you're beauty, you're ugly. All I want for you to do is love me. Make
Hmm.
sure that you're taking care of me in that love. And
Yeah.
it's so hard to accept people and they're ugly.
Yeah, it's for me too. I am gosh, dating the past 2 years has been a feat. And I think that, oof, but for me, like I really love one of one people. Like people always ask my type in dating. I love someone that no one else on planet Earth exists like them, you know, like
Yeah.
physically, emotionally. Like I love out there people, like that's just my type. And so when we were making this song, I am a person that's very aware of how I come across to everybody, right? Like a
Mhm.
lot of people have the same amount of information about me. Like I know I'm very analytical. I'm a triple Capricorn if everyone's into zodiacs, you know, my sun, moon, and rising are all Capricorn, which basically is like I am I just am hyper aware of how people perceive me. And so to completely give myself to someone is my like biggest fear of like someone having power over me by holding my heart. Like that to me is like I can't I can't.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
need all control, but there's something so beautiful about it. So this song is it's the first song on the album, and it is a preface to the entire rollout that we're about to push. But I wanted it to be first just because it feels the most honest out of anything, you know? Um, and it's special. It's a special song.
How are you dealing with the fear in love and in relationships? How are you dealing with that? Okay, word.
Yeah. You know,
Cute, got it.
here's the thing. I am becoming a lot more mature in relationships, and I think that I have never let go of my standard that I hold. And I have found that that has brought me into very beautiful rooms with very beautiful people. And I definitely am still fearful, but I am, the more you love yourself, the less fearful you get. Uh,
Yeah.
the more you know who you are, the less people can change your perception of that. And so that in turn has kind of helped with that situation. I definitely am still kind of like a hard ass, but I'm just a lot to handle. So
I'm the same way. And honestly, it's funny talking to you because, earlier we were talking about taking a bet on yourself for your career and, just going for it all. But then somebody says, take a chance on yourself in love. What?
yeah, crazy, crazy. It's too much, too
That's
much.
too much. That's too much of a commitment. Wait a minute. I don't want to do all of that.
that, but I'm learning. So
I mean, and eventually, I think that like life in itself, love is a step by step, piece by piece. And when you've been by yourself, dealing with yourself for the longest, and now the idea of taking someone else on in a very serious matter, like I gotta care for you. I have to actually be at the hospital if something happens to you. I have to make sure
yeah.
that your needs are met, not just my own. And that's terrifying.
Yeah, one of my favorite lyrics is in the song, and it talks about how, stormy weather is no problem. Maybe tomorrow's a dry one, but I'm not worried about the outcome. And that
Mm,
to me is how I am thinking about love right now, is that I'm not fixated on marriage or it working or blah, 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 blah. I'm just taking it day by day. And as long as I'm happy. I take care of myself, right? I can provide fully for myself. So as long
yeah.
as you're not adding a smile to my face every day, you know, that
Mm.
is all I ask of you. I just need you to make me smile. I can do everything else. Um, and if there's days where you don't do that, then we assess the issue.
Then come on, we assess the
It
issue.
ain't
Yes.
cute, you know?
I love it. And that is because right now, like I said, you're tap dancing on my sermon because I am so into that right now. Just make me smile, okay? Make me happy. Of course, we're gonna make each other happy, but make me happy. And the
Exactly.
days that you don't do so, we're gonna have a sit down and have a little conversation because I'm
Exactly.
good. All of me is okay. I'm the
Yeah.
needed part is good. I just want you. Period.
That. Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you ate that. That's real. That's how I feel. Like I just want you. I don't. The dinners are nice and the everything is nice, but like that connection, and I want to understand you and how you work, and I want you to understand me. And the only way we can do that is if you just take it day by day and you ask questions and you experience each other. That to
Yeah.
me is love more than, sprinkle, sprinkle. But
Come on, sprinkle, sprinkle.
which is nice, Ah, you know what? You know what? Let me stop. Not too much. Not too much on sprinkle, sprinkle. Because I be eating it up. Anyway.
I love it.
Let me
the
stop. Let me
word of the day, well, the phrase of the day is sprinkle, sprinkle.
want to do it. Want to do it. Come
What are
on.
you doing? But you're right. But you're right. Good. It's okay that we. I'm glad that we talked the dinner, the flowers, whatever. That's cute. That's cute. But I want something to drop dead gorgeous. I want a full on you. I want to the good, the bad. Let's go through it all because that right there, that old school type of love
Yeah,
story that we don't have that no more. We don't have that anymore. So let's create that.
I
And
know.
that's what we're looking for when it comes to love, right?
Always. That's the goal.
So tell me, what else can we expect from this project? I gotta get some more nuggets, some more teasers for this project.
I mean, it is my love letter to alt R&B. It is, there is a lot of, it's very risky. It's a very risky album. There's a lot of genre bending. There is me getting into I'm a piano, me getting into a jazz standard, me getting into
Mm.
a lot of energy. When I first started music, I was into the early internet, the early Sids, the early
Yeah, yeah,
Gambino
yeah.
when he first came up. And so I think this album is sonically stunning. It is very in that lane of deep, underground R&B, early Tyler the Creator feel, and I'm just very excited to for people to not only hear their songs but hear how the album flows. It is
Mhm.
an effortless, 12 songs, and it's gorgeous. I think it's so crazy. So me and my friends have been bumping it in the car. The bass is way too loud and the drums are way too hot, and that's the whole feel for the album if people can like get on that road.
So when can we bump it in our car and our speakers? What we gonna do? When
You
can
know
this
what?
happen?
We will let you know.
No, jeez, it's
I'll,
not the.
once that red light on recording goes off, then we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it.
Energy. Nah, it'll be very soon. The thing is, like, I took a solid 2.5 years of not releasing music, right? In those two and a half
Yeah.
years, I made probably like over 150 songs. Like, we have like
Um,
two whole albums that we made that just didn't feel right. And now, like, I'm in a place where I don't plan on stopping releasing music for the next 3 years, as like it's gonna be an abundance of music, and I'm very excited. But it's coming very soon. There has been some amazing collabs, me working with some people that I dreamed of, even on the writing side, the producing side. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm geeked. I really think it's just hot shit. Like it, and I have a very high bar when I talk about that, but it's hot. The whole album is just very sexy. It's very New York. It's very Chicago. It's very East Coast. It's like East Coast hot.
I'm excited. I think that no matter what, like I said before, you just win. You always do. The music is there. The stage presence is there. But when are you going to bring both back to Nashville and do a concert? When is that happening?
Soon. We're making our way around the world. We're making
Okay.
to the Asians, and we're coming back around to Nashville, but Nashville's
Okay.
home.
Okay.
Nashville's home, so I want to do something really, really special around the album release, and Nashville does it like no other, but I want to make sure that everything is right and kind of get some of the kinks out of the music. And yeah, I'm not
You
saying a
know,
lot, but
you're not, especially when you said that when you said Asia and Nashville, I was like, we are in two different area codes. What we are not, I
and you
still
know
want
what?
Nashville right now.
I'm sorry about it. Nah, it'll happen. Nashville's home, so that'll always be number one priority.
I have to ask you this. When you look back and think about 20s, that project and this project that you got coming out, what's the comparison, the contrast? What's the difference between the two?
Oh, I know what I'm doing now. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I know what I'm doing, and Take Care is probably the closest to 20s out of any song on the album, which I think is
Hmm.
why I released it first. Everything else is my voice sounds different. How I sing sounds totally different. You can kind of hear that on Take Care, just the growth and kind of how my voice is lower, just things like that. And so it's very different. It's very, um, I think I look at some of the people I love and the music I love, and I'm a little biased, but I think it's toe to toe with some people. Like, I feel very excited. I do think similarly. I
Similarity. Yep.
I feel like 20s was very honest, and it was kind of like a very big leap of faith. And
Yeah.
in soundscape wise, there was this kind of beautiful jazzy nature to everything, and it was very organic, and a lot of this sound plays off of that and kind of expands even more with how organic it feels. um
Mm.
Most of the music doesn't have tuner on it. Most of the music doesn't have like clicks, so it's very organic, but it's cool. It's cool.
But when you think about it outside of music and think about your mental state, the thought process that you had between
Oh,
20s and now, where are we at?
we're in a place of healing, and
Mm.
a place also of 20s was very at an insecure standpoint, right? No pun
Yeah.
intended, of my life. And I think now, um, I don't think it's too grown. I think I am kind of like a slight menace to, the world. And so I think
Right.
it is all about embracing this sexiness and embracing this world of power that I kind of have felt, and self-love, and feeling enough. That is
Mhm.
this. So it's not really sad. It's just very hot. And I think for me, that is my love letter to R&B. That is the side of R&B that I really, really enjoy and I grew up with. And so I am in a very interesting place in life. But it's cool. It definitely tells a story though. You'll definitely hear kind of this growth. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, as someone that took the time to do research and stuff about you so I can get prepared and everything like that, the maturity and the difference in self, it's very apparent and it's wonderful to see. I feel like you're now at a better sense of self and discovery and all of that than you were probably before when working, earlier in your life and all of that. You
Mhm.
now have a better perspective and concept of who you are as an artist, a growing artist, and even as an individual. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to continuously bring that out as a fan. And I'm excited for what else you learn about yourself because you're not done yet.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of growth to do. I want to make that clear to everyone listening. I have no idea what I'm doing. There is a lot of there's a lot of growth, and I think a music's an artist's discography should be their diary. Like every time I listen to
Yeah.
Michael, or I listen to Prince, or I listen to Stevie, I know exactly what they were thinking at that point in life. Amy Winehouse is another artist, so like I want that to be the goal. SZA is another artist that does that. So I
Hmm.
just want people to feel that, and realize that my music is all a ride and it's a big roller coaster. And I'm just excited for the new people that hopefully get on board with everything.
Okay. Well, listeners, y'all heard him. Y'all heard him clear. Embrace him. Tell them where they can be able to follow you and find out more about you.
You can follow me on IG, on Instagram at Brinjoy. You can follow me on TikTok at Brinjoy. You can follow me everywhere else at Brin Enjoy. Spotify is Brinjoy. Apple Music, everywhere you get your music, and take it as you are is at Brinjoy. And yeah, I'm excited for people to hear where we're about to go.
All right. Now, guys, like I told you, follow him, find him. He's an amazing artist. And when I tell you, you will feel just more within, you'll feel more with yourself. You'll feel like, okay, I'm going to be all right. And you're going to be happy about it. And at the end of every song, I want you to forever now say, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkles.
All right.
Energy,
It's
energy.
sprinkle, sprinkle. I
Run
love
it.
that. Thank you, Bryn, so much for coming on R&B Vibes with FNA. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.